to another episode of the DWELL Development Diaries. I'm Devin DeLange, Director of DWELL Properties. And it's an honor this morning to be in conversation with this gentleman. Not only does he have more than 30 years experience in the property development space, but he's also my father-in-law. This morning we'll be unpacking the very unique farm-style estate known as Springvale Country Estate, right here in KZN, Sheffield Beach. And we're very excited to have Mike here. Good morning, Mike.
Thank you, Dev.
Thanks for joining. Mike, first question to hit it off. We'd really love to know how you discovered this tract of land, and also can you tell us a little bit of history on the property, please?
Sure, Dev. I probably have to go back a little bit further in that in 1997, Mary and I bought 5 hectares of sugarcane land in Sheffield Beach. Didn't have a single tree, but it did have a stream and springs, and we could just dream about what could be created. And that transpired. We now live at Birdhaven. We did half the property was turned into Birdhaven Estate, and it is lovely. And so we felt we'd like to do something on a bigger scale, and we sort of surveyed the area and discovered the land where Springvale is today.
Lovely, lovely. Mark, and just in terms of the plan and the vision behind Springvale, what was the concept, what was the thought, what did you want to achieve with Springvale?
Dev, both Mary and I grew up on farms. We roamed around. Our parents didn't know where we were from one hour to the next. It is a safe environment and a natural outdoor life. And that was the first overriding principle of what we wanted to establish. So we needed a big property, almost a blank canvas. So we found Springvale, which is 58 hectares. What is lovely, it's got 5 little streams, which had some magnificent, still has magnificent riverine vegetation. And we saw this was the initial blank palette from which we could grow. Then looking at that, the other things we thought about is how do we recreate this traditional childhood? Yeah. So first of all, in this modern age, unfortunately, security is paramount. Of course. So first step was to make it a very highly secure estate. Many estates are fenced, but they have their weaknesses. We chose to rather spend a bit more. We built a wall right around the estate with a very modern electric fencing, infrared video cameras. At the gate itself, with a lot of problems come through the gate. We've got facial recognition cameras, fingerprint technology. So we really have gone to the experts and tried to do the very best job to create a very secure estate within which people can roam free.
Of course. Mark, and just in terms of the mix that Springvale has on offer, could you talk us through, again, the idea and conceptualization of how you've broken up or how you've split Springvale up a bit?
Sure. First thing we did is we looked at other estates in the area, and we spot there's some lovely estates. And we tried to build on their strengths and also try and rectify some of the weaknesses. And many of these coastal estates are built on very hilly land, so it's rare today to find people with gardens big enough to kick a ball, to learn to ride bicycles into the first rose bushes I did. And so we thought space. So we set up on the idea of having bigger than usual plots. So our average plot size is 2,600 square meters. And then what we found too is that in these smaller estates with small building lines, there's a high irritation factor. You can hear your neighbors talking, your dogs bark at each other. So we decided to go big. We want to merge with nature, not dominate it. So we made a rule on the big plots, single-story houses only. And we got 4 top architects together, and we designed an architectural code, which is very much farm-style based. Can be modern or traditional. Yeah. And the first houses are now coming out the ground, and they're looking lovely.
Fantastic.
So in other things too, because of the small plots in other estates, they're very restrictive about pets. 2 medium-sized neutered dogs or whatever it may be. So we're saying that as long as you control your dogs, you can have up to 4. But we're actively encouraging ducks and chickens, and we're not going to be too black and white. If someone comes along with a decent request to house a llama, we'll probably approve it.
Great.
So also vegetable gardens, orchards. Yeah. Nothing little more satisfying than actually eating something you've grown yourself, or a fresh warm egg So that's what we want the modern kids to see, more of that and less of the TV set.
Exactly. And Mark, that's obviously on the farm side. How many plots on the farm, and then if you can also touch a little bit onto the village?
Sure. The initial estate was divided into 121 big plots, and we started our marketing. Our marketing manager is my daughter and Dev's wife, so we're very close. And the message came through very quickly that lots and lots of young families loved the concept, but they couldn't afford the big plots and the big houses. So we listened to this, and we decided to go back and turn 26 of the biggest plots at the back of the estate into what we call the Springvale Village.
Fantastic.
We released the first phase, which sold out very quickly.
Brilliant.
We have not yet released the third phase, where we're toying with the idea of maybe offering packages, because many young families, probably wisely, are scared of building costs. We're much happier, they and their bankers will be much happier to have a fixed price package from a reputable builder. They know they'll be getting quality, value for money, and no runaway costs.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Mark, and Springvale obviously launched a couple of years back now. You've had your first transfers, phase 1. As you mentioned, houses are coming out the ground. In the build-up, even from acquiring the site back in, I think it was 2015, what have been the challenges along the way? And just to touch base on that timeline from 2015 to now.
The recent floods were a big natural act of God. All the other hassles have been caused by bureaucrats. So it took us years to get our environmental approval.
Yeah.
We ultimately got fined for improving the wetlands, believe it or not, because we did it sooner than they would have preferred. And then the water use licenses, and our recent saga is with the KwaZulu Council Electricity Department. They've been very, very restrictive. But we've met what they've asked of us, which included a very expensive electrical upgrade. But we provide the bank guarantees, and we've sometimes reluctantly, but we've done everything they've asked us to do. And we're hoping that will speed things up, and we can release our later phases for construction too.
Got you. I guess it's not easy being a property developer these days.
Yes, I cheer myself up by saying if it's easy, everyone will be doing it.
Exactly. Mark, and just in terms of the actual development team, who have been some of your development partners or professionals who have been instrumental in terms of the vision and bringing Springvale to life?
We started off with the initial concept of our own, but then we worked well with probably the king of local town planners, Francois van der Merwe. There's a wealth of experience, and he's been a great support. And then Derek Surfontaine, electrical engineer. And then we were lucky enough also when we went out to tender for the civils, the reticulation. The company has won the tender, Magado. It's a family-owned business, much like ourselves. They've done a great job. Nothing is too much. And in fact, they've chosen to take some of their payment in plots. They believe in the project so much.
That's great. That's great. Mark, and I would suppose the whole purpose of this DWELL Development Diaries is to educate not just the market, but potential buyers who are looking to invest and move their families into the estate. And one of the questions we had, which is very on point, is, in your opinion, and I want to answer this personally, is one of the questions was, as what we like to do with all the developers, ask the question, why Springvale? Why would you choose Springvale? And what is, if you had to give it a punt, what would the biggest selling points? And like I said, I'd like to answer this personally because as a family, we've decided to put down our roots at Springvale. And as Mark said, for him growing up on a farm, it was quite a big deal, and it was a childhood that he was so fond of in terms of just big open space. And I think for us, with 3 small kids, being able to have that space as an adult or as a parent, it's a very rewarding thing that we really want to give our kids, and I'm sure a lot of families want to give their kids. I don't know if you want to add anything to that too, Mark.
I think that aspect's correct, and we've talked a lot about the emotional side of it, the lifestyle side. But if one looks from a business point of view as an investor, I think we are going to be a very good investment, because initially and until now, access to Springvale is along a poor 4-kilometre stretch of dirt road. Access is awkward, and we allow for that in our pricing. So our average price per square metre is about 750 rand a square. Other good estates around here are about 1,500, and I recently saw one of 3,000 rand a square metre. Plans are afoot now for the road to be tarred. LLN Lifestyle is doing the first kilometre, and I spoke to Wesley recently. They have to start within 6 months. And then the Seaton group are doing the next 2.5 kilometres, and work is underway. The machines are on site. And just this week, they advertised their environmental approval for the new on and off ramps off the N2.
It's brilliant.
And we are poised to start our section of the road in the next 3 months. So by middle of next year, if not sooner, people will come home from Durban, glide off the new off ramp, turn left 500 metres and into the estate.
Exactly.
You can be sure we'll be pricing accordingly.
I'm sure.
So, jokes aside, I think that the early investors will see a very nice capital appreciation.
Of course. We actually had a client the other day who was looking at a few of the estates, decided to choose Springvale, which we were all excited about. And I said, yeah, it's great value for money. And he said something quite unique. He just said for them it was more, it wasn't about the value for money, but it was the value of lifestyle. And I think that was quite a cool line that he used, because that's exactly it. Again, like I said, for us personally, it's yes, value for money is massive, but again, I think it's the lifestyle that we all want for our kids here. Mike, you are still in the development phase. We've spoken about it, phase 1 transfers, houses are coming off the ground. In this development phase, you as a developer, you still are fulfilling your obligations and your vision, bringing it to life. For the homeowners as well as potential buyers for the state, what is there still to look forward to?
Sure. We are 90% complete, all the reticulation on site, all the water, all the electrics are in. We deliberately left a few stretches of road untarred because we still have big excavators on site.
Okay.
They're digging out the reservoir in the village. We're building some platforms. So we wanted to leave a space for those excavators to travel without damaging the roads. That aside, the more exciting, what's going to be a fun side, is about September we're going to start building our clubhouse.
Brilliant.
It's a lovely H-shaped building perched on a platform looking down the dam. And if on a nice hot summer day, you'll leave that, go through a lovely path to a pool, which will be a lap pool, but with a semicircular section for the dunkers.
Lovely. With
some umbrellas, and then next that'll be a gym. The gym will also look out towards the dam. And behind it will be a tennis court. And next to the dam, we've already put in the kiddies' play area. And besides that, we've actually just finished leveling what will be a little kiddies' soccer field.
Fantastic.
I think kids can amuse themselves for hours, if not days, kicking a soccer ball, hitting a hockey ball, running around. And of course, what they've also done, we've just finished our 7 kilometers of mountain bike track and jogging trails. And they're in place, done by professionals. And one or two others. We will put up some rugby posts for little boys to practice their place skating, and some cricket nets. And we really want it to be a case where the kids congregate at the clubhouse safely, no more mum's taxis necessary. And our vision is to have those children grow up in their estates, form lifelong friends, and enjoy all those attributes.
Very exciting, Mike. Very exciting, Mike. And that pretty much wraps it up. Folks, there you have it. A really nice, in-depth, insightful look into Springvale Country Estates. And Mike, it's always a privilege and pleasure to be in conversation with you, and we wish you all the best with the rollout of Springvale.
Thank you, Dev.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.